Hello, I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to a huge episode of CSGO News. I hope you guys all enjoy. It was an absolutely crazy weekend. As per usual, all the today's stories will be timestamped down below because there are some huge stories, and the first of which we're not going to talk about even on the thumbnail. Those will be our second and third stories because the biggest one is, of course, around DreamHack Winter Open Qualifiers. If you were a part of any Reddit forums or, of course, all the Twitter posts about this, even HLTV commenting about this as well, there was allegedly a team known as Syman Gaming who was apparently actually cheating throughout the open and closed qualifiers. If you guys did know, they actually went on to the grand finals against Existence Galaxy and then lost there in the finals. They would have had a chance if they won that series to actually go to the actual LAN event, that being DreamHack Winter, and all of a sudden they were throwing in the finals, and there were plenty of clips about one of their players known as iDisbalance. If you guys saw the entire thing, and the biggest part about this is if this team was actually cheating, it was an online qualifier, so not too many grounds as to actually catching these guys. Many pro players, Xanters, many pro teams, AGO also getting involved and calling this team out for cheating. They actually took down Vitality in the open qualifiers. They then took down Space Soldiers and AGO in the closed qualifiers and then lost in that finals, and it could be said they might have thrown the grand finals to actually LAN dodge, of course going to a LAN event as we've seen in the past couple weeks and trying to cheat on LAN. It doesn't work out too well, and if they didn't cheat, maybe they wouldn't be as good, and so potentially actually throwing that last game against Existence Galaxy, a team that's been known over the past few weeks to beat teams like Virtus Pro. They lost them in the grand finals. At one point in time, it was actually that team though, Syman Gaming, up 12-8 on that final map, and they lost 13-16. So again, a lot of controversial things about there. Let's show the clips first because there were so many clips around this guy being iDisbalance, and I'll show you guys those right now.
Będzie mógł wychylać Gruby, ale Gruby chyba wie, że za moment będzie miał towarzystwo. Ale to dysbalans szybszy i to Gruby.
Минус человечек. Продолжай штамповать сквозь стену. Я их вижу сквозь стену. Я...
iDisbalance. Опа! Как он так попал?
And then the last clip, I mean, I couldn't even believe it. And again, obviously a lot of those clips around that same area, but still you have to question as well if this was true. The biggest concern is not the Syman Gaming and their future, because you know probably won't have much of a future as of right now. Apparently they're at a boot camp, likely for the CIS qualifiers, the minor open qualifiers for the major. We'll see if they make it through there, and again it kind of worries you because those are also online for quite some time until they go to the minor, and if not further. So on top of that though, it really does make you worry about teams doing this because they take away the chances of other organizations out there like Vitality. They beat them in the open qualifiers in that best of one. It's not tough to cheat and beat a team in a best of one, even a team as good as or high potential as Vitality. You take their chance away for qualifying, as well as Space Soldiers and AGO, who are even closer to qualifying. They take their chances away as well. So as of right now, again, many pros out there, many organizations all have come pretty much aligned in their agreement and actually called these guys out for cheats. It's also Syman though posting this. Apparently when all these allegations are cleared, guys, they expect apologies from the organizations as well as Xanters on top of that. But also very lastly, the team did note that Torek is no longer playing with the team at their boot camp. So iDisbalance apparently is still playing even after posting this online as well, after taking down Space Soldiers and AGO. A little funny if he was legit, but it's crazy to see the history of this team, guys. This team is not even in the top 3 tiers. It's borderline a tier 4 or tier 5 team, and they're beating top tier or tier 2 teams as well, and in pretty dominant fashion with some pretty crazy clips. It all does not add up. It's very suspicious, but that was our first story today. But some bigger news out there as well revolving on Fxy0. If you guys remember, or a Fxy0, I always pronounce his name funny. You guys probably pronounce it weird as well. A match fixer himself, he was given a lifetime ban for doing so, but on top of that, apparently now suing Valve. Now I'm going to give you guys a quick TLDR, really a short story here. I'm going to reach out to Emilio on Twitter, or if he sees this, if he wants to respond to the exact context we were given. As of right now, we're assuming it's because of the Forsaken ban. You guys obviously know the story about Optic India Forsaken, him being caught on LAN. He's also now been caught by ESL India Premiership. He was now been caught cheating twice on LAN, at least that we know of right now. He was given a 5-year ban by the ESIC, the Esports Integrity Coalition, and of course then you have Fxy0 for match fixing, which is very ironic, the name and everything, but he was given a lifetime ban. Of course, a similar ban to that of the iBuyPower players, which I honestly do agree with him on those grounds. I do not think that a cheater that's been caught on LAN at least twice cheating should be given a lesser ban than match fixers. I definitely agree with him on that point, but the fact that he's going after Valve and apparently going after some sort of justice, and his tweets, his responses makes him sound like an absolute, dare I say, madman. But again, I'll reach out to him, give you guys some more context as exactly why he chose this point in time to actually reply and take the Twitter with this stuff. But apparently he is going to be suing Valve best of luck. And speaking of match fixing, easily the biggest story of the day, and I definitely need you guys in the comment section down below. After I show you guys the screenshots and the situation, it was actually thanks to the guy who took to Reddit to actually translate these posts as well by Captain Mo from Tyloo. This is definitely the biggest story we've seen in quite some time, responding to allegations of match fixing, speaking of it, back in 2015 for the Tyloo organization. Now I'm going to show you guys these first screenshots, which seem very, very suspicious. It was actually leaked by a man known as Weibo. I think actually Mo revealed his real name as well. He's very well known in the Chinese scene for being a part of these fixes. He was trying to get in touch with Tyloo for quite some time to actually match fix and of course make some money off them. And I'll show you guys the screenshots on screen, which in my own opinion do look very, very incriminating. If you look all the way through them, and actually I'll link them down below for all of you guys, they look very incriminating. But it was actually Captain Mo finally responding to this. A quick TLDR, pretty much these Chinese people were actually of course trying to blackmail them. They were releasing these screenshots or threatening to if they did not throw these games. Captain Mo sticks to his word though and says that they have never fixed a match, and they will definitely not. He also makes sure to point out that any Chinese player to actually match fix will become overall irrelevant, and that's why that Tyloo reinforces these players do stay away with it. Now, before I get any further into this, we know the Chinese scene is incredibly toxic, and when it comes to this kind of stuff, incredibly corrupt and can be very powerful and threatening. When you go back to the roster of Fierce Tigers, right, allegedly cutting the power and internet to other players out there, and allegedly also having ties to some sort of Chinese mafia. Not going to get into those details because again, it's hard to prove this kind of stuff, but that roster organization being very corrupt as well, and again being very powerful, you have to imagine the players and the people these players get involved with can be very, very scary people. Now I'm going to stick to Captain Mo's word here. He does say the team has never done such a thing, and they're prefaced and actually told by the organization, that being Tyloo, to stay away from this kind of stuff at all costs. But you look back at those original messages and they are certainly almost incriminating. And you read all the comments and the responses, everyone says, oh, he was blackmailed, so it's fine. But again, in those original messages, it does seem like some stuff went down. Now, again, without the exact context, it could be taken out of context. Maybe it's not near as bad as it seems. But in my own opinion, I think I'm going to kind of go against what most people thought out there. I thought it needed a little bit more explanation, because if you read those original messages very clearly, it does look like some activity did happen back in 2015. Now, how extensive it really was, it seemed like Captain Mo was actually tied to some sort of betting on these games with the help of these guys. But again, we don't know the full context. We'll hopefully get more about this story as well. But apparently Captain Mo and Tyloo have been sought after ever since 2015 to fix these matches, which just kind of goes to show you guys how corrupt and scary the Chinese scene is. As of right now, though, without further evidence, I'm going to say innocent until proven guilty, and they have not done such a thing. But it's definitely a scary thing to know that these guys, especially ever since 2015, being at such a young age, have been threatened by upper people in the Chinese scene. It really goes to show you how serious this kind of stuff is over in the Chinese area. And also, very lastly in CSGO news, and again, I'm going to touch on some other stories probably by tomorrow, as well as some results by Wednesday as well. I think we're probably going to hopefully have a CSGO video every day this week, because we have a lot of events going on that we don't know the full details as of right now. If you guys have seen James Bardolph's recent video, I'll link it down below for all of you. I cannot give you the full context right now, but I will promise you guys we'll do a follow-up story on that sometime shortly, as that response has been met with a bit of controversy. But talking about some non-controversial stuff out there, it's actually Ghost Gaming. We knew they were going to try and qualify for WESG 2018, which, if you guys are aware of this, 2018 also means 2019. WESG also always calls their events 1 year beforehand. It's actually not going to be happening until, I believe, February of March or March of 2019. But yes, Ghost Gaming has qualified. So amazing to see. They qualified for EPL finals last week, or actually guaranteed their spot there, and they have now also qualified for the Canadian spot with ease for the WESG tournament of 2018, which will be played out next year. And just so you guys know, a $900,000 tournament, or $890,000, guys. First place prize, $500,000. Now, will Canada be the favorite there? Likely not. There's also 32 teams who do qualify, so an incredibly tough tournament, but Ghost Gaming will be one of them, and that is just in huge news. Now, also very lastly, of course, Epicenter did end this last week, guys. It was no surprise to see ENCE alongside Swole Patrol go out in groups, but definitely a very competitive tournament and a great tournament for FaZe Clan. Now, I really ask you guys what you think about this, because it was just a couple weeks ago where we thought Kerrigan had to be kicked from the roster, although he still did not have any stellar performances besides a 2-0 sweep of Liquid, where he was actually the top frag just barely and actually had a pretty decent series. Besides that, he is still notably their bottom fragger, but they actually beat several great teams there. In group stages, they got 2-0'd by Na'Vi. They still made it out, though, in that second seed for groups. They went on to actually sweep NIP. And then, like I mentioned before, it was actually a 2-0 sweep of Liquid as well. Liquid, I guess, still a great, solid performance and consistent performance from Liquid, but not exactly what you expected. And like I said before as well, Kerrigan having a decent performance in that series. And then the grand finals, once again for Na'Vi, falling short. This is actually their fourth time in about the past 7 or or 8 months, they finished second place. Obviously, still the number 2 team in the world, most likely by most people's standings. It's actually FaZe Clan, though, 2-0 sweeping Na'Vi, guys, in incredible fashion, actually winning this tournament as well. So it really makes you question what the future of this team will be. We've seen so many mixed results out of the past out of both these teams, that being Na'Vi as well as FaZe Clan, and with so many optional players out there in the scene, we'll talk about hopefully more by tomorrow, Wednesday. There are so many options for these rosters. Will they change, though, especially coming off a victory or a second place? Will Na'Vi or FaZe Clan have any reason to change before the major? The process does actually start. We have a couple months before that process does get underway for all those teams who've already qualified, but a lot of questions in the air about the future of this FaZe Clan roster, and will they make changes with Kerrigan? I don't think anyone knows. And then very lastly, guys, thanks to Decay, we knew this almost a week ago, guys. It will be MSL joining Rogue. I think going to be an automatic upgrade from Crystal. I feel bad for the guy. He's now been replaced once again as that IGL role by MSL, and that's also the player that, you know, Rogue sent a player to North to replace MSL. Now MSL joins Rogue. It makes a lot of sense, I guess, in some books, and I think still an improvement, but it does make you feel bad for Crystal, a guy who's been constantly replaced for the past 6 to 8 months now, and unfortunately enough, but I think it will be an improvement for Rogue, and we'll see how they do as well, as they do kind of struggle in ESL Pro League standings. But on top of that, hope you guys all enjoy. I will see y'all back here tomorrow, I'm sure, with more CSGO news. A lot of great stories out there, and I hope you guys all enjoyed. Thank you for being a part of my morning over here. I'm gonna get going, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Okay. Goodbye. I'm not leaving. You can go, though.